Welcome back. Well, a lot of people might have misconceptions about foster care and the foster care system and what it all entails. Maybe even thought about opening your home and your heart to some of these children, but just haven't decided to do so because of some of the things that you've heard. So our next guest is here to clear the air. Joining us now on our 702 Communications line, 702 Communications, keeping you connected. We've got the one and only Ashley Ray. Welcome back, Ashley. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me back.
Is that your jazz hands move right there? Let's start with this, because I think a lot of people have these different conceptions about foster care. How would you define foster care?
Absolutely. Foster care is the temporary removal of a child, a youth, that goes into a foster family. A foster family can be a relative placement. It could be a family like ours. Maybe it's a group home. But the ultimate goal with foster care is reunification with the birth family. And so the ultimate goal is that we're here to simply take care of them, to provide for them, to protect them, to nurture them, while also supporting the birth family to, again, ultimately, hopefully reunite that child with their family. So it's just a temporary removal of a child and then put into foster care.
So it sounds like you're sort of acting like a bridge. Then are you going to meet with the biological family every now and then? And does there come a time like, okay, now it's okay for this child to go back with the biological family, or how does that work?
Absolutely. So one of the other questions is, how long is a child in foster care, and what is a foster parent, and what is our role? And so, yes, there are times, every situation is different, every family is different, every child is different, but there are times where we do bring that child to meet with their birth family for regular visits. The length of time that a child is in foster care is going to be different for each situation, because again, we need to remember that they're in foster care for a variety of different reasons. And so the circumstances behind each of those situations is going to be unique and different. What's required of those parents to get their children back into their home is going to be unique and different. So the length of time that a child is in foster care is going to be different. And then our role as that parent is to simply support that child, to provide them with what they need while they're in our care, while also doing what we can, when appropriate, to support that birth family to, again, ultimately get that child and that birth family to reunite at the end of the whole process. So we're not here to replace a birth parent. Yes, in some situations, adoption does happen from foster care, but our ultimate goal is to simply care for that child while they're in our home, while also doing what we can to support that birth family to help them reunite.
So for people out there that have thought about being a foster care parent, previously, but just haven't done it, how do they know if it's right for them? What would you say?
Yeah, that's a great question. And when we started, we didn't think that foster care was a path we were going to go down until we saw the need for foster families and what these children are going through. But you do have to be realistic. Is foster care right for us? And it was something that we had to take a step back and say, okay, where we're at in our lives right now, is it appropriate? Do we have the home and the space and, the excess resources that we can provide for these children when they come into our home? When we actually when we adopted our son, we actually waited. We knew at that time that we were going to want to do foster care, but we waited a whole year until we became a licensed foster family and then welcomed children into our home, because we knew that we needed that time with Micah in our home, adjusting to our home before we welcomed more children in. So it is very realistic to take a step back and to say, is this an appropriate time for us? Is this right for us? And to make that decision as a family before you move forward.
Foster family, what are some other ways I can support the foster care community?
Absolutely. So again, we know that foster families, full-time foster family might not be appropriate for you right now. And so respite care, that's what we originally started with the first few months. We became a licensed foster family, but we didn't do full-time licensed foster care. We did respite care, which is where you just temporarily relieve a foster family. So maybe it's for the afternoon, a day, a weekend, a week. You're simply welcoming those children into your home temporarily to relieve a foster family of their duties. But you can also reach out to county services, PATH, ASK, social services. There's other great ways where you can maybe make donations. Maybe you can go upstairs and go through your clothes, and maybe your kids are outgrowing their clothes or their toys or their books. There's a lot of great ways that you can support the foster community without making the commitment to be a foster family yourself.
Man, Ashley Ray, great stuff. Thanks for all you do. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. And if I may, if I can just remind everybody that right now the North Dakota foster parent toll-free recruitment line is now open. So I can provide that later in a link. But that is, if you've got any questions about foster care, you want to inquire, that line is now available for foster parents, potential foster parents, to reach out and ask questions.
Do you have that number off the top of your head by chance, or?
I do. Yes, it's 1-833-378-4663.
Well done. You are very, very prepared. All right. Thank you very much, Ashley Way. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. You too. All right. Stick around. We'll be right back.